this might just be the new MMO you've been looking for. It's different, it's unique, and best of all, there's absolutely no pay to win. Loftia is an indie, cozy solarpunk MMO developed and published by Cloud Games, a small studio. It blends life sim elements such as crafting, farming, decorating with light MMO features in a shared, persistent world of floating sky islands. I know this firsthand because I fell off the floating islands into sky multiple times. This is not an MMO for everyone. Not for your hardcore raiders, not for your hardcore PvPers. Instead, it's a wholesome, helpful, and collaborative adventure. Effectively, the love child of Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing with classic MMO elements, minus the combat grind or the toxicity. It is in closed beta testing right now. It began on April 22nd and runs through May 6, 2026, with early access planned for mid to late 2026 and full launch sometime after that. In terms of story, I'm gonna be completely blunt with all of you right out of the gate. The narrative is very light and integrated rather than being some large-scale epic fantasy story. You're essentially helping rebuild a brighter, sustainable future in a post-industrial solarpunk world where nature has reclaimed the skies. Floating islands are drifting above ruined factories and overgrown ruins. Your role in all of this, however, involves farming sustainably, scavenging artifacts, solving puzzles on numerous different islands, and contributing to shared community projects that literally unlock new areas and new resources for everyone. There is a main quest line here that features specific NPCs, each having their own personal arcs, plus you will encounter various pieces of hidden lore through exploration and helping random NPCs around each hub. This is not an open world MMO where exploration, we're engaging enemies, we're leveling to become more powerful to overcome the next dungeon boss, ultimately climaxing in some enormous raid with dozens of other capable players fighting to save the world. Now, this game is much smaller in scale. It is more about cooperation, it is cozy, it is uplifting, not lore heavy, not combat heavy, not gameplay heavy. It honestly feels charming and motivating without overwhelming the chill gameplay, as long as you're not expecting more than that. In terms of content, you'll be required to farm sustainably. This includes hydroponics, aquaponics, real-time crop growth, which at times leaves you just kind of standing there watching it grow. Yeah, this is a lot of the game. You'll craft with renewable energy tools, you'll decorate and build your personal floating home and island, sharing it with what seems to be 3 other people that are all connected via a central platform that you can interact with or, snub if you're that kind of person, that kind of neighbor. This, however, is from what we've experienced personally in the beta. You can help your neighbors, or if you're, like Mrs. Sticks or like Pebble, you could just hop on over to their home and steal from them. Either option works, really. You'll explore various different sky biomes, you'll scavenge factories, you'll solve puzzles, you'll engage in group content, which again does not involve any combat. There is a lot of socializing to be had in each hub, and even though an MMO by nature with multiplayer functionality, it is also an incredibly relaxing, very solo game that doesn't directly require any real interaction with other players unless they run over to your island home and start robbing you. Aesthetically, this game is not going to be for everyone, not at all. Mrs. Sticks liked the aesthetic. She also liked the aesthetic in other cozy games. I think Palia was another one. We have 2 different friends here, Queenie and Carmi, who also streamed the game, who also played the game, that both loved it. But for me, personally, it was kind of miss. I'll touch on that a little bit more later. For fans of cozy games, you'll likely feel right at home with the aesthetic. It's bright, it's beautiful, it's hopeful, it feels alive. It features a character creator with numerous different hairstyles, faces, body options, more than I'd anticipated there being, admittedly. Although, given this is a beta, there were definitely still bugs, there were glitches, and a very finite amount of content, which is to be expected. I've never played a beta test where this isn't the case, which is why I'd never actively, publicly criticize a game, nor at the same time praise a game for how good or bad it is during its respective beta test. Things change significantly between beta and full release. I will note though that the beta from what we experienced was relatively polished. Yo, I don't mean to interrupt the video, but I need to take a moment here to thank all my incredible patrons over on Patreon whose support continues to allow for me to do regular videos like this every single day on this channel. Thank y'all so much, including our YouTube channel members. You guys mean the world to me. So do you guys as viewers as well. Now, without further ado, let's continue. Since this is an indie game, I do have my reservations. I think indie games are, for the most part, actually doing far better than AAA games in a lot of instances, but an MMO is different to a normal game. It is larger, it requires more balancing. The content cadence is something most traditional games just cannot keep up with. Making an MMO is quite the financial risk. It's why so many studios have moved away from them, instead opting for gacha games, which spend much less time in active development and have a higher ceiling for earnings, or multiplayer survival games, because you can release them years before they're even ready into an early access state and people are still going to buy them. Both options result in millions of dollars in total revenue, something 95% of MMOs these days just do not have the potential for. The smaller team developing Loftia could also mean much slower updates than more popular MMOs, resulting in less overall interest and especially motivation to log in regularly to play it. The farming and crafting feature, for me personally, also felt very grindy, especially given the limited scope of environments, materials, and areas to navigate. They were small, allowing you to circle each island's map in under 60 seconds. I believed I explored the first map out of a handful right now in a couple minutes. I then had to wait for materials to respawn to continue to craft for progression. The stamina recharge was also quite painful to wait on and often left me just standing around, waiting to craft. As I noted earlier, I think that's going to be one of my main issues with the game in the long term. As an adult that runs more than one YouTube channel, that needs to be writing up, needs to be recording, needs to be editing videos daily, I don't have time to spend several minutes waiting for my energy to recharge, for mineral veins to respawn, or for crops to grow. I need to be able to jump into the game and do the thing that I want to do that keeps my mind and my fingers busy, and then once I'm done, either move on to the next thing that I want to do or just log out. Standing around socializing with other players was something that I had time for genuinely a decade ago, but I don't know, maybe that's just me. I think this is going to appeal to a lot of people that do have some spare time on their hands, that do love the social aspect of MMOs, that just want to chill, have fun with people while waiting for their timers to expire. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that style of game or gameplay, and I do actively encourage it. The more diverse MMOs there are, the more MMOs people will have to play. I just don't think, for me personally, it's something that would warrant my time investment. So far, from everyone I've spoken to and every thread that I've read on social media, reception has been overwhelmingly positive, and I concur with that. It is a great game for the kind of game that it is. It's got plenty of customization, an aesthetically appealing world, lots of side content in addition to the limited story. It didn't seem toxic at all, but it's really only a matter of time before that happens. It's a large-scale MMO life sim with more social activities than the norm. I was just bored with the waiting around for everything, but that's a me issue, not a game issue. The only concern I saw from players and fans was that the population might dry up fast if the updates aren't frequent enough. I've also seen some conflicting information concerning its business model. Some sources are claiming that it's going to be free to play. Other sources claim that it's going to be buy to play without a subscription fee. They did manage to raise almost $1.3 million through Kickstarter, and then supposedly attained another $5 million through seed funding as well. So they definitely have the funds to make something good, and I genuinely hope they do. They have the makings of a very fun game, just not for me. I need a challenge in PvE through dungeons and raids, or in PvP through open world engagements, arenas, battlegrounds. I like the looming threat, the danger, and Loftia just doesn't provide that for me, so I doubt I'll dedicate my time to it. But again, that's just me. You might love the game, and I really genuinely hope you do. I know you think that you just hit the end of the video, and technically, yeah, you have. And I know your first reaction is to close out of it at this juncture, but don't. No, instead, I urge you to take a moment here and click one of the videos on screen that are coming up in just a moment, so you remain up to date with everything going on in the gacha genre. Trust me, you're not going to regret doing so. Stay flaccid.